Okay. I didn't realize that my story was going to be this long, but I guess I had a lot to say. So if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. Um, so we're in, let's see, in May of 2008. The end of May, over Memorial Day weekend, went up to Maine with my whole family to visit my aunt and uncle who are on vacation up there. And that weekend started getting fevers, started just not feeling well. I had started back on Primaxin at that point because we were able to get at least a month's worth paid for. And so I started the Primaxin about the same time the fever started. Wasn't sure if it was related. Had to stop the Primaxin just basically because I, wasn't sure what was going on. And the fevers. So I went home and when we got home, I took my temperature because I didn't have a thermometer with me, and yes, I did have a fever. And so I was out of work. This was, a long weekend, so I was already not at work on Monday. And then I was out of work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, home with, like, really bad fevers. I had been throwing up off and on, was just not feeling well. Was determined to go back to work on Friday because it was the last day of school. So I went back on Friday, even though I still wasn't feeling great. Ended up leaving before we were done cleaning up and everything because I just felt and looked horrible, and went home and took my temperature, and I had a fever again. So this went on. I was having fevers off and on, sometimes high, usually over 103. They wouldn't go away completely. I would have them, it would seem to get better. I would feel a little better, and then they would come back. I was tested for all kinds of stuff. Had a blood culture done of my port and just my peripheral. I had urine cultures done, which came up with two things, which really my doctor was like, but I don't see how these could be causing these high fevers. Unless one of them, she was like, unless this is like in your kidneys, which you would be showing other symptoms. But we treated it anyway. I went on oral antibiotics, which I was thankfully somehow able to tolerate. But we really didn't have any answers. So then in July, I think it was July, I was tested for babesiosis again, because the symptoms I was having, babesiosis is similar to malaria. So you can see how, like, the symptoms I was having kind of fit with it. I was having fevers, I was anemic, which I had been anemic before, but I was, like, more anemic now. Let's see, I was just, like, my stomach was upset, I was having headaches and just, like, not feeling well. But it was mainly the anemia and the fevers that made us think babesia. So the test came back positive, which is the first time I've ever tested positive for babesia. It's always been clinical diagnosis for me. So I was started on treatment for that. I seemed to get better a little bit at first, and then the fevers came back after like a week. So we were like, oh great. And now the fevers were getting up over 104. Eventually they started getting up over 105 sometimes, and like it was really scary. I was still like functioning. I don't know how, and my doctors don't know how. It's kind of a mystery how I was still able to be up and around. I mean, when I had a fever of 105, sure, I wasn't feeling good. I was in bed, but I could still function. I didn't look like someone who was that sick. So we thought it was babesia, thought maybe I wasn't responding to treatment well, so we upped the treatment, and eventually it just got to the point where I was just so sick. Went back to work at the preschool in the fall, and somehow managed to make it through September, made it through most of October, and then towards the end of October, basically I went home. I was teaching theater classes, which I've been doing for years and years. I teach children's theater classes on Tuesday and Thursday afternoons, so I went to teach them on a Thursday afternoon, and this was down by my parents. After the class, went to my parents' house, which I usually do for dinner, and basically managed to get myself into my pajamas, curl up on the couch, and I was just like, I didn't get back up again, really. I just crashed so hard. And it was kind of scary. And so I called out of work the next day and then made the decision I had to take a full week off. So I took a full week off. And then decided, well, I'm really not feeling better, so let me take another week off. And at that point, it was like the directors were understanding, but they were like, we need to figure out what's going on and make a decision that works for both of us. During the second week off, I had an appointment with my primary care doctor, and she basically decided I need to be admitted, which I really think I should have been admitted long before then, but whatever. So I met with the directors of the preschool and made the decision to take the rest of November off, which I did. So I went in the hospital, went into Mass General, and ended up being in there for almost 10 days, about 10 days. And they basically found that I had a blood infection with staph. I had a staph infection, probably from my port, but the blood cultures I'd had back in like May or beginning of June were negative, so we thought that we had covered that base. But apparently, either it was Babesia to start with and then it became sepsis, or it was sepsis then and just didn't show up. So we're not sure. So I was started on treatment for that, and immediately my fever stopped. It was amazing. They also found I had some nodules in my lungs, because I was having shortness of breath and coughing a lot, and that cleared up. So but because of they found the nodules, I had so many pulmonology tests done. It was ridiculous. It was just, it was crazy. It was just, yeah. There's a lot of testing. So I was in the hospital. They took the port out. They had to wait for blood cultures to be negative for 72 hours, and they put a PICC line in, which that was an ordeal, but managed, and was sent home on IV vancomycin. So that cleared up the infection. And then I was on the Vanco for almost a month, and then my immune system crashed, and I had to stop it. And I went back to work, which was so nice. I missed the kids. It was nice having the break, but I really missed the kids. And so let's see. So that's December of 2008 now. And so then when I stopped the Vanco, we decided to take another antibiotic holiday and see how I would do, because we weren't sure how much was the sepsis, how much was the Lyme, what was going on. I was retested for Babesia, that was negative, and we just basically waited. And so then after about 6 weeks of being off antibiotics, I was really not doing well. So I started back on IV doxycycline. This was in January, last month. Started back on doxy, doing pretty well tolerating it. Haven't noticed a huge difference yet. We're slowly upping the dose. I'm also going to be pulsing IV Flagyl back in 1 week a month, and then we're going to see about increasing that if I tolerate it. On February 4th, I had a new port placed after a long time of dealing with a PICC, and then I had the PICC removed. So I now have a double lumen port, which I don't have a good shirt on for showing you. But it basically, I can put 2 needles into it, so it has 2 different chambers, and I can infuse my antibiotics at the same time as the hydration and amino acids and other stuff that I'm on, which aren't compatible, so they can't be mixed. So that kind of brings you up to speed to where I am now. So I'm on the doxy, I'm going to be starting the Flagyl, I'm on hydration and amino acids and vitamins and minerals intravenously. I'm on a whole bunch of other supplements and stuff and medications, but I'm kind of doing okay right now. I'm struggling a bit. I'm struggling more than I usually am, but I'm kind of handling things all right. Yeah, so that's kind of my story, and where I'm at now. And I'll try to do, updates when things happen, or just in general, do an update. I'm hoping to get a better recording device. This has all been recorded on my cell phone, so it's probably not very good quality, but it's the best that I have. I have a webcam, but I'm having microphone issues and computer issues in general. So see if I can, like, borrow my dad's camera, which records with sound. Mine does not record with sound, because it's just that old. Anyway, thanks for watching, and, leave comments if you want to. Hope to hear from you soon, and hope you're doing well. Alright, bye.